The moment I realized my best friend was toxic. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. Brooke's message hit the group chat at 9:17 p.m. and my phone buzzed so hard it skittered across the coffee table. "Since Maya wants to play Saint," she wrote. "Here are the real screenshots." My stomach dropped before I even tapped. I was still wearing my badge from the holiday mixer, my feet aching, my lipstick already half wiped off in my car mirror. Elena, my girlfriend, was in the kitchen rinsing wine glasses, humming like tonight had been normal. It hadn't been. At the mixer, Brooke had wrapped an arm around my shoulders in front of my co-workers and said, loud enough for our director to hear, "Maya's the reason I'm still employed. She basically babysits me." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, because that was what I always did when Brooke joked. Now the chat lit up with little typing bubbles. Names I recognized. Co-workers, Brooke's friends, a couple of people from my building. I'd been added to this group months ago, Brunch Babes plus 1S, and it had turned into the default for birthdays, memes, plans. It was my community. The first screenshot loaded, a cropped text thread with my name at the top. Under it, a message from me that I never sent. "I can't stand Elena. She's so controlling, but I need her rent money." My hands went cold. Elena called from the kitchen. "Babe, you okay?" I stared at the timestamp Brooke had circled in red, 7:42 a.m. last Tuesday, because last Tuesday I'd been in a client meeting and my phone had been face down on the conference table. More screenshots followed. A second thread, supposedly with Tessa, my friend from work. A third, supposedly with HR Kim. Each one painted me as petty, greedy, unstable. Each one sounded like a meaner, sharper version of me, like Brooke had been writing fanfiction with my name. I tried to type. My thumbs shook so badly I hit the wrong keys. "This isn't." I started, then deleted it. Brooke sent one more message. "Ask Maya why she's been lying to all of us," she wrote. Then Elena walked in, drying her hands on a towel, and said quietly, "Maya, what is this?" I looked at the screenshots again and realized one detail didn't match. Brooke and I met 4 years earlier, on my first day at Hawthorne Creative. I was the new project coordinator with a thrifted blazer and a notebook full of color-coded lists. She was the account exec who breezed in late, hair perfect, coffee in hand, and somehow still charmed the entire open office into forgiving her. At lunch, I ate at my desk because I didn't know anyone and I didn't want to hover in the break room alone. Brooke appeared beside my cubicle with 2 salads and said, "You look like you'd rather melt into the carpet than small talk. Come with me." We took the elevator down like we were sneaking out of school. Outside, she asked real questions, where I moved from, why I chose this job, what I did when I wasn't working. When I admitted I'd been taking care of my younger brother most of college and still felt behind everyone else, her face softened. "That's not behind," she said. "That's survival." She made me feel chosen. Not like an obligation, not like the responsible one people leaned on, but like someone worth knowing. Brooke was also useful, in the way charismatic people are useful. She knew the bartenders at our favorite spot. She got us into comedy nights. She introduced me to her circle, Tessa, who worked in UX, Jonah, who ran a small gym, a handful of other friends who rotated in and out of plans. Suddenly, I wasn't the quiet girl with spreadsheets. I was Brooke's person. When my mom had her first health scare, Brooke showed up at my apartment with groceries and sat on the floor with me while I cried into a paper towel. When I forgot my birthday because I'd been buried in a client launch, she dragged me to brunch and made the waiter bring sparklers. "You deserve people who celebrate you," she told me, clinking her mimosa to mine. I believed her. I needed to believe her. Even Elena liked Brooke at first. Elena called her your golden retriever friend because Brooke was always bursting into rooms, hugging everyone, laughing loud. The first time Brooke met Elena, she said, "Finally, someone who looks at Maya like she's magic." It was the kind of line you replay later and wonder why it felt staged. Because the truth was, Brooke didn't just join my life. She started editing it. The first edit was so small, I thanked her for it. The first weird moment happened in a place that felt safe. My couch, takeout containers between us, Brooke scrolling through my phone photos like it was nothing. She'd insisted on curating pictures for my work bio because, in her words, "You're allergic to looking hot on purpose." I tried to laugh it off. I'm not allergic. I just don't know how to pose. Brooke tilted the screen toward me. This one is cute. You look like you're about to apologize for existing. I froze, chopsticks halfway to my mouth. What? She grinned, like she'd delivered a killer punchline. Maya, I'm kidding. It's your vibe. People love it. I did what I always did. I smiled and let the moment roll over me. I told myself it was just Brooke being Brooke, sharp, funny, honest. That's what everyone said about her, like honesty and cruelty were the same currency. But then she kept going. When Elena texted, Brooke read the notification out loud in a dramatic voice. Can you pick up oat milk? Ugh, domestic. It's just oat milk, I said. Brooke made a face. I mean, if you like being managed. Elena arrived an hour later with a bottle of wine and that calm, steady energy that always made my shoulders unclench. Brooke hugged her and said, brightly, "We were just talking about how lucky you are." Maya basically runs her own little nonprofit of emotional support. Elena laughed, polite. "I am lucky." Brooke turned to me and whispered, stage whisper style, "See? She's whipped. It's adorable." Heat crawled up my neck. Elena was pouring wine and didn't hear it. I told myself it didn't matter because Brooke was joking, because Brooke loved us, because Brooke was just intense. Later that night, when Brooke left, Elena nudged my shoulder. "Your friend is a lot." "She's just protective," I said automatically, even though I hadn't asked for protection. Elena's eyes held mine. "Protective of you, or protective of her spot in your life?" I wanted to dismiss it. I wanted to be loyal. I wanted to be the kind of person who didn't assume the worst. So I did what I always did with Brooke's little digs. I folded them up neatly and tucked them away. And then, 2 weeks later, Brooke made the same joke in front of other people. This time, everyone laughed, and I couldn't tell why. After that night, Brooke went into what I later learned was her sunshine mode. My phone filled with hearts and voice notes. "Miss you. Come over, I made pasta. I told Jonah you're coming Saturday. Don't bail. Also, I got us tickets, because you deserve fun." It worked. The unease in my chest quieted down. I told myself I'd been sensitive. Brooke was showing up. Brooke cared. Then I missed one plan. A client emergency ran late, and I texted Brooke at 6:06 p.m. "Can't make trivia. I'm so sorry. Rain check?" No response. At 6:22, I tried again. "I owe you a drink. Please don't be mad." Still nothing. At 7:01, I checked her Instagram story. She was at trivia, laughing with Jonah and Tessa, the camera panning over a table full of friends. In the corner of the frame, my empty seat was obvious. The next day at work, Brooke walked past my desk like I didn't exist. "Hey," I said, forcing lightness. "You okay?" She didn't look up. Fine. It wasn't fine. She didn't invite me to lunch. She didn't forward me the client notes like she usually did. When I asked her a direct question about a deliverable, she replied to the whole team. "Maya's got it. She's the responsible one." After 2 days of that, my stomach was in knots and I was rehearsing apologies in my shower. On the third day, I cornered her by the copier. "Did I do something?" Brooke sighed dramatically like I was exhausting. "Maya, I just have other people to rely on. It's okay. I told you I had a client thing." "Yeah." She smiled without warmth. "You always have a reason." That sentence slid under my skin. Always. Like my job, my relationship, my family obligations were excuses for failing her. That night, I showed Elena the unread messages and the icy replies at work. Elena frowned. "So you're being punished." "She's just hurt," I insisted, even as I typed a new message. "I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you." Within minutes, Brooke's bubble appeared. "Oh, I knew you'd come around," she wrote. "Come over tomorrow. I need you." And I felt relief, which should have scared me. When I arrived, Brooke's apartment was dark except for one glowing screen. Brooke's apartment was dark except for her laptop. On the screen was a clip from the mixer, me accepting a silly most organized award, smiling too hard. "Look at you," Brooke said. "Even when they praise you, you apologize." "It's a dumb award," I said. "Exactly," she murmured. "And you still try to shrink." She leaned in like we were sharing a secret. "Elena's great, okay? I like her. But I'm noticing things." My stomach tightened. Brooke always noticed things the way other people found landmines. "She's intense about you," Brooke continued. "The check-ins. The little requests. It's control dressed up as concern." "Elena doesn't control me," I said quickly. "She worries." Brooke nodded like she'd expected that. Of course you'd defend her. You hate conflict, so you rename it. She clicked to another tab and turned the laptop toward me. A document titled Red Flags. Under it, asks where you are. Acts calm but keeps score. Gets weird when you have plans. Brooke? I half laughed, half panicked. Why are you making a list about my girlfriend? Because someone has to, she said softly. I'm the only one who really cares enough to tell you the truth. That sentence wrapped around my ribs. If I disagreed, it meant I didn't value truth. If I agreed, it meant Elena was a problem. I went home and watched Elena move around our kitchen, humming, making tea, asking about my day. She wasn't perfect. She could be anxious, she could be blunt, but she wasn't a villain. And yet, Brooke's words replayed anyway. So when Elena said, "Text me when you get to the gym tomorrow," I snapped, "Why? Do you not trust me?" Elena froze. "I just want to know you're safe." I saw the hurt flicker, then she smoothed it down, which somehow felt worse than a fight. I apologized, but the apology tasted thin. That was the beginning. Me hearing Brooke in my head and taking it out on Elena. I didn't tell Brooke about the argument. I didn't want to prove her right. But Brooke found out anyway. 2 days later, Brooke forwarded me a message Elena never sent. Brooke texted me at 10:03 a.m. on Wednesday. "Not trying to start drama, but you should see this." A screenshot followed. It was the same Tuesday Brooke had circled in red in other screenshots. A thread labeled Elena. One message bubble. "I'm worried Maya's pulling away. I feel like she listens to you more than me. Can you tell her to stop acting weird?" My face went hot. It made Elena look needy and controlling, exactly Brooke's narrative. Elena was working from home that day. The second her call ended, I shoved my phone toward her. "Did you send this to Brooke?" Elena read it once, then again, like the words might rearrange. "No. Brooke says you did." Elena opened her own thread with Brooke and turned the screen toward me. 3 old messages. Months ago. Nothing new. No deleted gaps. Just silence. I heard myself say, "Maybe you deleted it," and hated my own voice. Elena's eyes widened. "Maya, I wouldn't." She asked me to forward the screenshot. When she zoomed in, her expression changed. "See the timestamp?" she said. "It's a different shade." And Brooke's phone would show my full name, not just Elena. Also, I don't talk like that. I wouldn't ask your best friend to manage you. She was right. Once she pointed it out, the screenshot stopped looking like proof and started looking like a costume. My stomach rolled. I'm going to ask Brooke for the full thread. Elena grabbed my wrist gently. That wasn't a mistake. Someone made that. I typed anyway. "Hey, Elena says she didn't send this. Can you show me the full conversation?" Typing bubbles appeared, disappeared, then Brooke replied, "Wow. So Elena's turning you against me now?" There it was. No answer, just a flip. My throat tightened with that familiar panic. I'd done something wrong. I'd accused her. I was ungrateful. Then my phone rang. It was Tessa. Her voice was careful, like she'd already decided. "Maya, why did you tell Brooke I'm a snake?" I opened my messages with Tessa and saw a text I never sent. Tessa and I met at a cafe after work. She slid her phone across the table without a greeting. Brooke's screenshot showed me texting. "Tessa's jealous because she can't keep a job. Don't invite her." My chest tightened. "I didn't send that." "I want to believe you," Tessa said, and that sentence felt like a bruise. Brooke had already planted the explanation. She'd told Tessa I was stressed, that I said things and forgot, that I was becoming unreliable. I showed Tessa my thread with Brooke, my request for the full conversation, Brooke's immediate flip to Elena. Tessa stared at it, then at me. "She keeps saying she's protecting you." The next weekend was Jonah's engagement dinner. I almost bailed, but I was afraid of what Brooke would do with my absence. At the door, Brooke hugged me like we were fine. "There she is." Then she hugged Elena and said, bright as a spotlight, "Thank you for sharing Maya with us." Inside, Brooke was pure charm. She toasted the couple. She took photos. She made everyone laugh. When people asked about my work, she praised me in public and pinched me in private. "Maya's basically ready for director," she announced, then leaned close to my ear and added, "if she can stop overthinking and acting fragile." Everyone laughed at the public part. Only I heard the rest. When Tessa arrived, Brooke waved her over. "Tessa, sit with us." We ended up in a tight triangle, Brooke in the middle. Every time I spoke, Brooke repeated it louder, funnier, more confident, like she was translating me into a version people liked. In the bathroom line, Brooke's smile stayed fixed while her voice dropped. "You're being weird tonight." "I'm fine," I whispered. "You're quiet," she said, still smiling. "It reads as hostile. Are you mad at me?" "No." "Good," she said. "Then prove it. Go sit with Tessa and fix whatever you did." Fix whatever you did. Like I owed restitution for an offense I couldn't name. Back at the table, Elena texted, "We should go soon." Brooke's eyes flicked to my phone. She laughed, loud enough for Jonah to hear. "Is Elena timing your bedtime again?" Elena pushed her chair back, and the sound scraped through the whole table. Brooke raised her eyebrows at me like I'd trained Elena to misbehave. In the car, Elena didn't yell. That was what made it hit. "She keeps making you defend yourself," Elena said. "And you keep doing it." "I didn't want to ruin Jonah's night," I whispered. "She already ruined yours," Elena replied. At home, my phone buzzed nonstop. The group chat was exploding. "Jonah, everything okay?" "Someone." Brooke said Maya's stressed. "Be gentle." "Brooke, guys, Maya's having a hard time. Please don't pile on." My throat tightened. She'd lit the fire and then volunteered as firefighter. I started typing. "Brooke is making things up," then stopped when Jonah messaged me privately. "Hey, Brooke said you've been saying weird stuff about people. Are you okay?" "Weird stuff? Are you okay?" Not did Brooke lie. But is Maya unstable? That was the twist I hadn't wanted to see. Brooke wasn't trying to win an argument with me. She was trying to define me to everyone else. Little moments snapped into place like magnets finding their match. Brooke calling me a goldfish when I forgot a name. Brooke saying, "You're spiraling again," when I disagreed with her about a client deck. Brooke teasing, "Maya can't handle stress," every time I set a boundary. At the time, it sounded like affection. Now it sounded like rehearsal. I scrolled through my texts with Brooke. Whenever I asked for clarity, she answered with emotion. "Why are you attacking me? Why are you making me the bad guy? I can't believe you do this to me." It kept me explaining, apologizing, proving I wasn't cruel, while she told other people she was worried about me. Elena sat beside me and said, "If she controls the story, you need facts. Facts. Receipts. Dates. Something heavier than Brooke's charm." I opened a new note and typed, "Brooke timeline." Under it, I started listing every incident I could remember, with dates, places, who was there, and what was said. My hands shook, but the shaking felt different. Less like panic, more like adrenaline. The first entry I wrote made my stomach drop, because it wasn't recent at all. It started the night she demanded I hand over my phone as a joke. I stopped reacting the way Brooke liked. I answered late and neutral. No paragraphs. No apologies. I watched. And I documented. I screenshot everything. Brooke implying I was confused. Brooke claiming people said things I couldn't verify. Brooke using that soft voice that sounded caring until you read the words. I made a folder on my laptop called Receipts. I asked Tessa to forward what Brooke had sent her. She did, with one line. "If you're lying, I'm done." The fear in that sentence made my throat ache. Elena exported our text thread as a PDF with full timestamps. "If she tries to swap reality," Elena said, "we show the log." At work, I kept conversations in writing. Brooke loved hallway whispers. "Kim in HR is worried about you." The kind of statement that panicked you but left no trail. So I followed up with an email. "Hey Brooke, you mentioned Kim had concerns. Can you clarify what you meant?" Brooke replied, "LOL, don't be weird." Then Kim from HR stopped by my desk, brows drawn. Why did I get pulled into an email about concerns? My pulse spiked. "Brooke said you were worried." Kim looked genuinely confused. "I haven't discussed you with anyone." Receipt. I wrote it down. Date, time, Kim's exact phrasing, the way she sounded offended on my behalf and embarrassed for Brooke. I added it to my Brooke timeline note, along with every other moment she'd tried to turn someone into a witness against me. Then I did the scariest part. I asked Jonah, privately, calm as I could make it, "What did Brooke say about me this week?" Word for word. He replied, "She said you've been acting manic and lying, and she's scared you'll turn on people." Manic, lying, turn on. Those weren't jokes. Those were labels, enough to make anyone treat me like a bomb with a loose wire. I copied his message into my timeline and stared at it until my eyes burned. Brooke had been telling a story about me that made her betrayal look like self-defense. That night, at 8:54 p.m. Brooke called and didn't get an answer. A voicemail arrived seconds later. In the voicemail, her voice changed, and she said my full legal name. I played the voicemail with Elena beside me. Brooke's tone started sugary. "Hey, I miss you." Then it dropped. "Maya Renee Alvarez," she said, my full legal name, the one only my mom used when she was scared. "I need you to call me back right now." Brooke continued, voice trembling in a way that sounded practiced. "I'm not okay. I'm in trouble at work. I told Kim some stuff because I'm worried about you, and now she's asking questions. And Jonah's acting weird. And Tessa is whatever. I feel like you're poisoning everyone against me." Poisoning. Against me. It was the same story flipped. "I don't know what you think you're doing," Brooke said, quieter. "But if you don't call me back, I'm going to have to tell people the truth about what you've been saying. I didn't want it to get like this." My hands went numb. It felt like a threat wrapped in concern. Elena exhaled through her nose. "She's blackmailing you with a fake truth." But my body didn't care about logic. My body remembered 4 years of conditioning. Brooke gets upset, Maya fixes it. Brooke withdraws, Maya chases. I typed, "Are you okay? What's going on?" Brooke replied instantly, like she'd been staring at her screen, waiting. "Come over," she wrote. "Alone. We need to talk without Elena's influence." My stomach rolled. There it was again, Elena as the villain, Brooke as the rescuer. Elena shook her head before I even spoke. "Do not go alone. I just want to end this," I whispered. "I want everyone to stop thinking I'm crazy." Elena reached for my hand. "Then don't play her game." My phone buzzed again. "Brooke, if you love me at all, you'll show up." I stared at that sentence until it blurred. The part of me that hated conflict, the part Brooke had always used, started bargaining. Maybe if I went, I could calm her down. Maybe if I went, she'd stop. Maybe if I went, I could be the good Maya again. I stood up, keys in hand. Elena's voice was steady. "If you walk out that door, she wins." I swallowed hard and sat back down, shaking. I texted Brooke, "We can talk tomorrow in public." "Not tonight." For a full minute, there was nothing. Then Brooke sent me a photo. It was of my office badge, lying on her counter. The badge wasn't mine, but it proved she'd been in my workspace. The badge photo was a warning. Brooke could reach parts of my life I hadn't offered. The next day was the holiday mixer. The night everything finally snapped. I went because skipping would look like guilt, and because my director, Marissa, had hinted my promotion packet was being discussed in January. I needed to be calm. I needed to be normal. Brooke arrived late in a sparkly dress, hugged me like a best friend in front of everyone, and announced, "Maya's my rock. She keeps me from getting fired." People laughed. I laughed too, even though my cheeks burned. When Marissa joined our circle, Brooke's voice softened into concern. "Maya's been under a lot of stress lately," she said, smiling. "Just keep an eye on her." Marissa's expression flickered. I blurted, "I'm fine," too fast. Brooke patted my shoulder like I was delicate. "Of course you are." Seed planted. Leadership hearing it from the charming one. Later, Brooke pulled me toward the photo booth. "We need a cute one for the group chat," she said, and plucked my phone from my hand like it belonged to her. "I'll set it up," she added. I hesitated. Then I remembered every time I tried to push back and gotten frozen out. It was just a phone. She tapped quickly, laughing, then pressed her cheek to mine for the photo and handed it back. 20 minutes later, while I was getting Elena a soda, my phone buzzed. "Your Apple ID was used to sign in on a new device." My stomach turned. I opened settings. A new device was listed, unknown, signed in minutes ago. I spotted Brooke near the dance floor and pushed through the crowd. "Did you do something on my phone?" She widened her eyes, perfect innocence. "What? No. Why are you being paranoid?" Paranoid. Another label, delivered like a joke. Then she leaned close, still smiling so anyone watching saw friendship, and whispered, "Don't freak out in public, Maya. People will think you're having an episode." At 9:17 p.m., the group chat started buzzing like a swarm. At 9:18, Brooke posted the first proof, and my hands went numb. When I opened the screenshot, I recognized my phone's wallpaper behind the lie. After the group chat blew up, I didn't sleep. Elena sat beside me while I saved everything. Brooke's posts, the screenshots, the replies that suddenly treated me like a liability. I texted Brooke, "Juniper Cafe. Noon. Public." She replied, "Sure. If you're safe." Brooke was already seated when I arrived, eyes red. She stood to hug me. I stepped back and sat. Brooke's voice came out soft. I'm really worried about you, Maya. I'm here about the screenshots, I said. Stop reframing this as my mental health. Brooke blinked. What screenshots? The ones you posted last night. I slid my phone forward. On the screen, the Apple ID alert. 8:52 p.m. Signed in on a new device, plus the device list with an unknown sign-in. Brooke laughed airy. That could be anything. You're spiraling. There, I said. That word again. She leaned in. Because it's true. Everyone's seeing it. I opened Elena's exported text log. Here's last Tuesday, the time you claimed Elena begged you to manage me. No message like your screenshot. Brooke's smile tightened. Elena's coaching you. I also emailed you when you said HR was worried about me. I said, keeping my voice level. Kim told me she never discussed me with you. Brooke's eyes flashed, then filled with tears. So now I'm a liar. And Jonah messaged me what you called me. I continued. Manic. Lying. Turn on people. I have it in writing. Brooke shook her head slowly, tears falling like punctuation. I said I was scared. Friends notice things. Friends don't fabricate evidence, I said. Friends don't leak it to a group chat. Her tears stopped. Her face went flat for half a second, like the mask slipping. You always do this, she snapped, then caught herself and softened instantly. You make me the villain because you can't handle accountability. My hands were steady now. No. I'm making you accountable because I finally can. I slid one more screenshot across, the device name. This was on my account minutes before you posted. Explain it. Brooke stared at the screen. Then she smiled again, too quick, and reached across the table for my phone. Her fingers touched the screen, and my Apple ID suddenly logged out. My Apple ID logging out right under Brooke's hand felt like a magic trick. Finger on glass, then darkness. I yanked my phone back. Did you just? Brooke lifted both palms. Maya, you're freaking out. People are looking. 2 tables over, someone glanced at us. Brooke's power lived in public shame. I stood. I'm done. Do not contact me again. Brooke's eyes went wet instantly. So you're abandoning me. After everything. Elena met me at the door, and we walked out, my heart pounding like I'd committed a crime. By the time we got home, Brooke's story had already spread. Jonah, Brooke says you threatened her at the cafe. Tessa, she's telling people you're hacking accounts. A random DM. Hope you get help. At work the next day, Marissa asked me into a conference room. Kim from HR was there too. Face careful. Marissa said, we received a report about erratic behavior and data access. My mouth went dry. Brooke had taken the Apple ID issue, my proof, and flipped it into an accusation. Maya hacks. Kim slid a printed email toward me. Brooke had attached screenshots and a long paragraph about being scared of me. We have to take reports seriously, Kim said. Do you have context? I opened my laptop and pulled up my folder. Elena's exported logs. My follow-up email where Brooke refused to clarify HR concerns. Jonah's message quoting Brooke calling me manic. And the Apple ID alert timestamp that matched the minute Brooke took my phone at the photo booth. Kim read slowly. Her expression changed in tiny increments. Less neutral, more alarmed. Outside the glass room, the office buzzed like nothing was happening, which somehow felt cruel. That afternoon, the friend group split. Some people went silent. Some sided with Brooke loudly and apologized to me privately. Tessa whispered on the phone. She's telling people you're dangerous. Then Jonah texted again. We think it's best you don't come to the engagement party. I stared at the screen, feeling something tear. I wasn't just losing Brooke. I was losing the community she'd been narrating for years. The next morning, Kim emailed me one line. Can you come in early? Kim's come in early email made me nauseous, but when I walked into HR at 8 a.m., she didn't look like someone about to fire me. She closed the door. I reviewed your documentation, she said. We also pulled badge access logs. My lungs stalled. Kim turned her monitor toward me. Time, door, badge ID. There it was, Brooke's badge pinging our floor at 7:41 a.m. last Tuesday. The exact morning her fake screenshot claimed Elena texted her. The morning I'd been in a meeting. Kim pointed. She accessed the building outside her normal hours. I stared until my eyes burned. I hadn't been paranoid. She had been moving pieces around my life while I apologized for noticing. What happens now? I managed. Kim's voice went firm. We're handling it internally. You don't need to communicate with her. I walked out of HR feeling hollow. Vindication didn't feel like victory. It felt like grief, for years of friendship reframed into a spreadsheet. That afternoon, I did the unglamorous boundary work. I changed every password. I turned on two-factor authentication. I removed the unknown Apple ID device. Elena sat beside me, writing down recovery codes like we were preparing for a storm. Then I wrote Brooke one last message, short enough she couldn't twist. Do not contact me again. Any further communication goes through HR. Screenshot. Send. Block. Her number, her socials, everything. I left the group chat with one line. Please don't relay messages between us. No explanations. No courtroom speech. Just a door closing. The silence afterward was brutal. No buzzing. No constant vigilance. Just the raw emptiness where Brooke had lived. I started therapy because Elena said, softly, "You've been trained to doubt yourself." Dr. Patel taught me a sentence that felt like armor. No. Rebuilding looked boring from the outside. Dinners with Elena, walks without checking my phone, letting friendships regrow slowly. A week into no contact, a new number texted me. Hey, it said, "It's Brooke. We need to talk." I didn't reply, but the next message included a photo that froze me. The photo Brooke texted from the new number wasn't dramatic. That was what made my stomach drop. It was a screenshot of my Brooke timeline note, my private list, in my own formatting, with my own typos. The one I'd written on my phone at home. The one only Elena had seen. Under it, Brooke typed, "Cute story. You think anyone will believe you?" For a second, my old reflex kicked in. Explain, plead, fix. I could feel my fingers itching toward the keyboard like a trained response. Instead, I did the new boring thing. I forwarded the message and the screenshot to Kim in HR with one line. She's contacting me from new numbers. This screenshot proves continued access. Then I blocked the number. I didn't get fireworks. I didn't get a cinematic, everyone clapped moment. What I got was quiet. Elena made tea. Tessa sent a voice note that started with, "I'm here." My body slowly stopped flinching every time my phone lit up. In therapy, Dr. Patel asked me why I'd stayed so long. I said the truth, because Brooke made being close to her feel like a reward and losing her feel like punishment. Because I thought loyalty meant enduring discomfort. Now, looking back, the red flags feel obvious, but only because I finally named them in real time. Love bombing that turned into silence when I disappointed her. Jokes that left me smaller, never stronger. Isolation disguised as protection. I'm the only one who really cares. Triangulation. Speaking through Jonah, Tessa, even HR, so I was always outnumbered. Gaslighting with receipts she manufactured, then blaming me for noticing. The victim flip. Tears first, anger second, sweetness again, on loop. If you're in something like this, the most important question isn't, is she evil? It's, do you feel safe being yourself around her? I didn't. I felt managed. And here's the thing I wish I'd understood earlier. Boundaries aren't punishments. They're clarity. The people who benefit from your lack of them will call them cruelty.